Right, Golf Shop Onliners, let's talk about wedges. Cam Smith had an amazing win at the Open this year for anyone who is watching this video in 2022. He was talking about, I saw some articles talking about his wedges, where he swapped wedges out using different grinds. Obviously, it was played at St Andrews where he won his Open Championship, and ground's very tight there, so he was talking about grinds and what kind of wedges he has. So some good ideas of maybe how to pick the best wedges for your game. So number one idea is gapping. Cam has 4 wedges in his bag at the point of filming this video and his last interviews. Obviously it'll change as he goes to different courses, and that's one of the things top players will do. But gapping, so you can even get specialized wedges when it comes down to your pitching wedge. This is a 48-degree Vokey wedge, and then I could go from 48 degree, I could go to 50 or 52. From there I could go 56 or 58. These are loft numbers, so the angle on the face. And then somewhere up to 60 or 58, depending on what kind of numbers you want to hit. Now, when it comes to gapping, you want to think about where you want to get to for lots of golfers. So if you have a 60-degree wedge that you love, you want to work out how you get there. So from whatever your pitching wedge is, how many clubs fill to get to that gap. So when you get out on the golf course, you don't have any big holes in your play. Now, I know a few very clever golfers who think about having lots of wedges in their bag. They try to have as little amount of half shots as possible. So they like full shots. They feel more comfortable hitting full shots. They think they hit the ball closer when they hit full shots, which is a common thing with lots of golfers, rather than trying to make up a distance with a loft. So what they do is they pack their bag with wedges so they cover different yardages. Now, if you're someone who likes fuller shots into greens, you don't like those awkward little in-betweeners, the idea of having more wedges, like 4 wedges, filling each gap might be a good idea. Now, if you're someone who feels that you're quite good at being accurate in between shots, you might only have 2. So when it comes to gapping, think about your top club, so where you end up with your highest loft, then think about what your 9-iron or pitching wedge does in your set, and just plug those gaps. General rule of thumb, it's kind of 2 to 4 degrees between clubs. Closer 4, I think, is better for people. So for instance, if I have a 60, I'm going to come down 4 from that, so I'm going to go to a 56, and then from there I'll go to a 52 and then into my wedges. Also, when it comes to choosing your wedges and how many you should have, you want to think about what you do with your wedges. So do you need a club specifically to help you out of bunkers? If you do, you're rubbish out of bunkers, you need as much help. You might build your series of wedges around having something with a really big sole that might help you get in and out of the bunker a bit more so you don't dunch them. You might work on the what we call the bounce and the grind. So the bounce, how much this end is lower than this end, and then grind ideas would be kind of how thick the sole is, because they can be shaven away for tighter lies or thicker lies. But think about what skills you use around the greens and what you are good at, and then think about what you're also bad at. What you're bad at is where you want to concentrate your wedge game. Can the wedges help you improve what you're bad at? Now, if you find a wedge that helps you improve something that you're not very good at, a fixed-soled lob wedge that helps you get out of bunkers, let's say that's what it is, then what you need to do is you need to make sure when you've got your wedges built around that fixed-soled, whatever loft you end up with, make sure the things you're good at, you're still good at with those wedges, because there's no point improving one part of your game and then destroying another part. So think about what you're good at. Definitely think about what you're not very good at. See if there's wedges out there that help you improve those skills. If they do, then make sure you check you can still do the things that you're good at, so you're winning on wins that you've already got. When it comes to wedges as well, I think a lot of people do get maybe a little bit panicky about having the right wedges. Don't get too panicky about that. And bounces and grinds are things that constantly, I've done lots of videos on them, but people still get confused. They're not quite sure what it means and what it means to them. Really, when it comes to wedges, the best place to start, improve what you're not very good at and make sure it doesn't affect what you are good at, and then make sure you haven't got any huge gaps. And the other thing, if you want to get really specialized with wedges, if you do play a variation of courses, let's say you've got 4 wedges, you might have 6 or 7 and you swap them out. Now, I'm not saying every recreational golfer will be doing that because it's overkill, but if you're someone who really wants to dial into your wedge game, thinking about having a few more than what you use in one round to cover different situations, the sand gets changed at your club. You might think about changing the style of bounces and lofts that you've got to help you with that. When it comes to wedges, get out there, improve what you're not very good at with the wedge as much as you can, and hopefully scores will come down.